questions, email me too. It's about to yell at you.
Is on.
Okay. So reason why I'm going so quick is because I want to get through a lot of this and then I want to get into channeling too. So none of this stuff makes sense to me. And when I write this down, I write it down with my eyes closed. So everything's like upside down, back and forth. What does 89 have to do with anything?
8 and 9?
Yeah, 89 or 8 and 9.
I can't. He was born in 88.
Okay. Interesting. They kept saying 89 over and over and over again. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they're trying. Now, this is just on the box. This is not in my head. Like the whole word thing out there, unless it's in there. And so I'm like, okay, maybe he was trying to figure out that he was around my age. So that would make sense. Was he? Okay. What does September or 9th of the month have to do with anything? Or the 9th. It's either the September, which is the 9th month, or something to do with the 9th. Or 9.
The only thing I could maybe think of is around this time, I believe he was getting like checked into rehab centers.
Pause. Okay, cool. Don't tell me any more besides that. Okay, so another thing was done. Well, that's on here too. We'll talk about that. That's why we say it. You'll see my eyes get really big, and I'm like, holy shit, that is a thing. Okay. What also? This is the last thing for numbers, and we'll go here. What has to do with number 3 or like March? I'm not really. That was just something they kept talking about 3 in March, and so I'm like, for me, I don't know what that means. Think about that. Hold that. Another thing he said. So this was actually in my head. He kept talking about. This is something that actually made me cry. He like played the whole thing. He kept showing me the scene from The Notebook. Where they go, like they run up to each other and they're like, it's not over. It's not really over. It's not really over. Like that scene. And I got all like, I just got, oh my God. I don't know. He was like playing that for you for some reason. And like, you need to watch it or something and like re-feel that. Because there was a whole lot of stuff. Like I cried. Another thing was, he did say, this is something that halfway came out, but halfway in my head. He said he was always so proud to be with you. Like, that's a whole nother thing. Like, very proud to be with you. Talking about that. Somebody was talking about getting the call. I'm guessing that was you. Somebody got the call about his passing, or somebody got the call about it. Okay. Because this is the part where I started asking him about how he passed. Yeah. So one of the things he said, this is right off the bat, because I could feel him. This is the initial. And I said, how did you pass? And it said, it was dumb. And I'm like, all right, we're ashamed. Like, we're going into this area. Don't tell me anything yet. We're going to get into that. But he said it was dumb. And it was in my headphone. And I'm like, that was so freaking clear. And like, when I would say, are you here? It would say yes. And I'm like, I had to get out of the room. I was like, oh my God, I'm creeping my own self out, right? Another person, he did say, and this was in the box, that I missed her. That was one of the things. Kept talking about what's up with dad. What's up with his dad?
He's passed over too.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool beans. Kept mentioning, I kept asking, like, who is he with? Who is he with? He kept talking about dad. Do they have lineage back to like another country or something like that? Or did somebody speak another language like that generation and back?
Me and him are both from Italian families.
Okay, because in the thing, when this guy comes up, you can feel it. You can feel this, like, it's going back, like we're all from this other area, but you heard like this like that type of thing. And that our role is, okay, that's not English, but that's not Hispanic. Like, where is this from, right? Okay, I was thinking Middle Eastern, but you're good on this. Okay. Another thing he said I never got to say goodbye. And this was in my head. So he never got to say goodbye to you, correct? Perfect. Okay, cool. So that was one of those moments where that came through, and then he started showing me that it's not over, it's not really over thing, that back and forth, and I'm like, oh my God. Another thing was, he kept showing me, I don't know if this is a video, I don't know if this is a picture, I don't know if this is a memory. This is just where he's putting. He would show himself like doing like weird, funny dances, like in the kitchen, being a goofball with like a sandwich in his mouth or something, or like dancing around, like hey, like that, just like being a goofball. And so he's like wanting you to remember this. And for me, it felt like I was holding the camera, I was holding the phone. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm just watching him. And he did say, I'm with her. Did say that on the thing too. And I was like, obviously. What is up with dancing or like dance lessons or something like that? He kept talking about a first dance. Y'all hadn't gotten that far, correct?
Nope.
Yeah, he kept doing, he kept putting like, and for me personally, this is where I go, oh, it's okay. It's even better.
Forming over here really bad.
You're fine. Oh, there you go. You're fine. So he was talking about how, I don't care if it's dark. He just kept showing me how he wants to dance or he wanted to dance with you. And I'm like, I don't think these people hardcore dance. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Also, what is up with, who's pregnant or had a little boy?
My sister has a little boy.
Perfect. Okay. Kept talking about, like, this is in my head though. He kept hitting on, and it's not, I was like, she's not pregnant. She didn't have a kid. Kept talking about like pregnant little boy. I like this little boy. I enjoy this little boy. I'm around this little boy like this. And it almost felt like it would be a nephew to me, like a net. And
oh
so
my God, yes.
Okay.
That was his boy.
Okay. Cause he kept talking about, but I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So he kept talking about being an uncle.
Oh.
Like, that was his thing. And that's why, and that was in my head, kept saying uncle, like talking about this. And I'm like, you're not even married. Like, how are you an uncle yet? Like, for me, generations inside of my head go a little bit differently. Apparently he's talking about it. He also kept showing me, he has, and this is what he's doing in my head right now too. He had two styles of fashion. He kept showing me like this really big ass watch in his hand. And I also think that was maybe something about being GQ or something like that. He kept showing me that he likes to be like this quote unquote outdoors person, but not really. And then he kept showing me like completely, sorry, I look tacky today, kept full on like GQ suit, like maybe like all the way through watch, like very well done.
Have it in between. It was either sweats or like nice ass dress.
Like, yes. Yeah. That's what he kept showing me. He was like, oh, I'm this mostly, but I'm
he cleaned up very nicely. That was one thing everybody always kind of said to him but he liked to dress nice. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, when he kept talking to me, I knew that was a thing because he kept like pulling the sleeves down or whatever it is to make them perfectly like white over this jacket or whatever it is, like just all super about that. He said, now this is you. He was making me feel your thoughts. He was making me feel your emotions. And this is part of the things also that gets me crying again. You were saying, why would you do that? Like, that was like over and over and over again was you being like, why? And then even going to a point where I don't know if it just destroyed you and he's showing that, or did you destroy their stuff? Like y'all's stuff. It's like one or the other. So I don't know where that would come from. He also says he comes to you in songs. That's where he likes to like connect a lot. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, like music. Yeah, like when you turn it on, like the messages that come through. Yeah, that's it. Huh?
On the way here, right before I pulled in, the song Springsteen by Eric Church came on, and that was just a song that we kind of liked because when I met him, I was 17 and I had an old Jeep, and it was just so yeah, that came on as I was pulling in. I was like, I even thought to myself, I was like, if you're really coming through, like play me a song right now. And when I turned on, I have chills all over. When I turned on the radio, that's the song that was playing. So
yeah, that's so funny. Okay, I put that down at the very end because he was showing like you driving or you being at a place being like, this isn't. He's like, yeah, it is. This is yeah. So know that that's him. Okay, please no. Whenever they do these things, they like to be acknowledged because then they will do it again and again and again. Another thing is that he was talking about hold on, wait, This is going to be a hard one because he said a word. He said words like in my head, but I'm trying to paint the picture of what he means. So this is what he was doing. He was sitting on this chair and he just said this out loud. He was sitting like this and he goes, yep, yep. She needs to move on. Yep. Like not very excited about it, but allowing this to happen. And so I'm like, I don't know if you've actively been doing this, or I don't know if like you're trying to give yourself a right to it, but just take that. I didn't know what context that would be in. But apparently that was a big enough thing that he caused me to have a whole vision and make me feel it. So what's going on?
Boyfriend. I did get with somebody. Maybe talking about September. It was pretty like we didn't start dating, but I kind of started like talking to this person around September, and it ended up just kind of turning into a relationship unexpectedly.
Okay. Yeah. Any of these months, it's going to be a big thing. Like, and it's not even just, it's like either somebody died, which is not a thing right now. So that's the gentleman. We already confirmed dad. Or it's like yesterday, this guy that I was channeling for this woman, he came through. He was so funny. He kept talking about October. And this woman is about probably 61. And I'm like, he keeps talking about this. I was like, but he keeps putting like the beginning of your relationship there. Like, she's like, well, we didn't get married in October. And I'm like, no, like the beginning. And she was like, oh my God, we went to a music festival in October and we got engaged in October and he died in October. We had our first daughter in October. And I'm like, that's why he keeps got like, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, there's huge things that go along with it. Another thing is, where's mom at? Do you still talk to mom? His mom?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Because he kept, when they usually, tell me one more time.
I talk to her very often.
Perfect. Okay. Because usually if you still keep in contact with it, they'll bring up people for you to give them a hey or like a high five or like what's up. And so that was his way for acknowledging mom and saying hello and that he loves her too. That goes into another thing. So please let her know that. If you don't communicate with them, they don't talk about that. But because that cord goes through, that's why. And what was it? Cute man, water. Wait. Who is cute man? Oh, that was another thing about the little boy. So the nephew, I'm gonna call him the nephew. He kept saying that he watches over him. Kept talking about being like his guardian or something like that. I'm like, okay, cool. And then another thing that he kept putting me to was that he was sitting there like playing, for me it'd be PlayStation, like sitting there just like playing video games, like laying in a recliner. I have no idea why. That was another place that he was at, just laying in a recliner playing video games. And I'm like, it's nobody's recliner, it's nobody's, I have no idea what that means. And then what is going on with, wait. So were you texting him after he had passed?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, because he said, he was like, I got the message you sent me. Do a little more. I don't think you actually sent them or whatever this was. I don't know what it is, but he's talking about with the phone, like physically messaging after he passed, and then him saying he got them. Obviously not in here, but in spirit. So just know that that went through. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So take that there. These are the things that he's bringing up for you, and he's very good. And he's like, right now it's 65 degrees in my house, which is why I have this in here, and I'm getting boob sweat. Like, he's making me hot. And then he called you his forever. He called you his forever. So he is going to be around for quite some time. So I want to get into wait. She hid being weird dancing kids. Hang on. What is this? I was with her. Wait, same grandfather. So that's okay. So that's the gentleman. I was like, who's the same father from another country? So that's his dad that was coming through. I was going to ask you about that. Who is this man? But we already got that. So I think. Oh, so that's what he was talking about. Why did he keep talking about like chemicals in his heart? He was being dumb. Chemicals, heart, obviously like our heart gave out or something like that. I don't know, but he kept talking about like the chemicals. I was done. He's like, heart. So did we have an overdose?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool. That was part of him being dumb. So let me get into, sorry, for me, when it comes through, it's very quick. So don't ever think I'm being short or shitty. It's just that delay. I don't get it. And it's like, I want to get everything for you. So I'm going to put on my Vivaldi music in my headset like I always have, and we're going to see where he takes me. So just give me a second. I'm probably going to be looking around randomly or at this spot on my wall because there's nothing there. And hold on. He said, I said, so what do you think about her in your relationship? He goes, Amy, I didn't throw her for a loop. I took her for a fucking ride. And I was like, that may be kind of intense, isn't it? It's just straight up says that. Wait.
What is he?
He's calling you, he's telling you your he said, did you get what I said earlier? What he said? Hang on. Because he talked about how he didn't throw you for a loop. Like, he didn't cut you off course. He, like, gave you a fucking ride, which means usually it wouldn't disrupt you normally, but oh my God, look what he did. Like, it was such a bad thing. And I'm like, stop. And he's talking about how, hang on. Hold on. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Hang on. He said, I got too cocky. Not that I was ever cocky. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure you were never cocky, ever. Like, that wasn't a thing. I'm being sarcastic. He says, wait. Is this like heroin?
It was.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Because he called it, I said, what was it? What did you OD on? Because there's a lot, there's different combinations, there's fentanyl, all this stuff. And he told me it was the rich person's drug. And for me, that's heroin.
Yeah.
So, okay. Hang on. You know, it's interesting because he talks about how almost like you felt, did you feel like he had passed? Did you feel like his soul leave his body?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what he's talking about.
That's why I was texting him. Yeah.
Right, because oh my God. Okay, sorry, I get in shock one thing because he's saying, oh yeah, she knew, she felt it leave. Like, that's the whole thing. He said, well, no wonder he brings that all the way back around. He goes, he does this a lot. He grabs his like face and like pulls it down or like messes with this all the time. Like, that's his like thinking face or his moving.
Yeah.
Or everything's always here. And he's talking about how he fucked up. I said, I know. This is his first time to talk in a while. He says, but I have my dad. I was like, I know. He said, he talks about his father like he was really, really worried about him, that his dad passed suddenly or something like that, or had a really big issue. So his father was like the glue of his family?
I would say so.
Okay, no, it's okay. The only reason I ask is because he puts him at the head of the dinner table in my head. And usually a lot of times with dads that are gone or dads like this, obviously they don't know them very well or they don't have a good connection, but he puts him at the place and he puts him at how, like, it was such this huge, big thing that this gentleman passed and how he's very happy about that. Now he's going to go into, he calls you a fucking princess in a good way. And he talks about like, oh, he's upset about like, did he promise like I don't understand this. Did he promise like a bigger ring or something?
No. He had the ring that it was my grandmother's ring he got for my mom, but he just had not gotten on the one and even proposed to me till he was leaving here. So
Gotcha. Okay, so there was an absence of it. Okay, because he keeps putting this ring and he keeps putting more. And I'm like, is it because we didn't have it? I'm like, I feel like there is one because he's doing symbology of like there is actually one. And hold on. He's so funny. He's talking to you and he's like, he's so random. He was like, don't let her cut her freaking hair. Like, don't let her cut her freaking hair or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know what that means or like what that is about. Like, that's so random. Are you thinking about like chopping it off or something or what?
After he passed, I was like going through like a mental breakdown, and I had hair down to my waist, and I dyed it all hot pink. And after I was done with that, after the mental breakdown had passed, I realized how damaged my hair was, and I needed to cut off some. So I cut like 8 inches off. It was down to my waist up to here. And the very first night me and him met, he said, "Don't ever cut or dye your hair." He was crazy about my hair. If I ever cut it or dyed it, he loved my hair.
He's talking about it. I was just like, this is so random. He was like, why would she cut her hair? Why would she cut her fucking hair? Like, why would she, don't cut your hair. Don't do it. Like, don't, like telling like that it's happened or preemptively at the same time.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Sorry, I know it's very random. He says, he's talking about running his fingers through it like this. And he's like, he would like mess with you if it was like tattered or something. He keeps doing like this and like, pop, like if it's, I don't know if that is like tangled. Not. Yeah, that's what he's doing to mine. And I'm like, stop. And he says, it's funny because he feels like with you, he absolutely adores you, but he has this vibe of like, he has to be your dad at the same time. Like, in a really, oh my God, all about that. Cause he has this protective feeling about you that he's like, yeah, I gotta make sure. We're gonna get this.
He was just constantly in protective mode. He constantly.
That's how he feels. It's like, hey, I love you. Are we gonna go? Like, come here. Like, sometimes getting like more agitated than need to as well because of it. Like this whole thing. It's like you calm him down. He says, I guess the person you're with he doesn't like because he calls him like a schmuck or something like that. That's a very weird word. I'm like, I haven't heard that in a long time.
I knew he wouldn't. I knew I didn't even have to ask him. I knew he was going to say he didn't like him. And I see why.
And you're planning on getting married to him?
No.
What's going on with that? Because he's talking about, he's like, I don't want her to have a life with him. And I'm like, for me, that means he doesn't want you to marry him. But that could also just be his opinion.
The guy that I'm with brings up marriage all the time. And he always says, I can't wait to meet you and I can't wait to marry you and stuff like that. And
Okay. Yeah, there's that. Okay. I get it now. He's just like, oh, don't marry it. Like, don't marry it. I'm like, is it because we don't want to? Or is it perfect? So he's going along with your inner feelings. He says, obviously it's for you. He said, your secret's safe with me. Hold on. He gets angry right now. He like walks around and he like kicks like this metal bucket. That's him showing me that he's very upset. And he's talking about how, wow, it was just one fucking decision. It was gone. He said it was just one time, just one thing, just one decision. It was gone. He said, he says he's very like calorie conscious at the same time. He's showing himself that he would drink, but he like drinks like the lighter things or like light or something like that. He's always about being like physique or calorie conscious. And then he's talking about how, tell my poor mother I said I'm sorry. He's going back to that. Tell my poor mother I said I'm sorry. Hang on. That's her oldest kid, her oldest son?
Youngest.
Okay. Because he has a special place star for me. So that's either oldest or youngest. He's saying, hold on. He's talking about you. He's like, now I was supposed to make her happy. I was supposed to make her so freaking happy. And he was like, now I can't, you know. He said he really has bonded with you. Like he's showing me, I don't know if this actually is a thing or if he's just showing me like, this is how deep it runs. Like he's showing me like literally getting like a portrait of you on his arm or like in tattoo. Like that's his thing. Like that's how he's bonding it. And he's talking about how, hold on. Just like some gutter slush. So he passed, hold on. He's talking about how he died. It put him in like an incriminating position or how it put him looking lower than he was or how like it happened like out, hold on. He's talking about, I guess, the people around him. He's talking about how
Yep.
he keeps showing himself like in the sewer. Like that's how low he feels about himself, in the sewer, or that people are slapping him. Was he at a
Me,
party when this? Huh?
What about this?
Was he at a party when this happened? Like, why are people slapping him to get him up, or who's slapping him to get him up, or something like that?
It wasn't a party, but there was people who walked in and found him, and so maybe they thought he was just sleeping or something.
Okay. Because we keep talking about these people that are here, and they're like, hey, he's talking about like you always keeping tabs on him, trying to make sure he would go to the right place or like do the right thing or stuff like that, like always being like a mom. And he's talking about how you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have had to do that. Like he apologized. He's talking about now how it would like worry you to death, like your internal area, like it would make your heart hurt. Like he's making me feel it's like a vice grip. And he's saying like, how fucking stupid was I? I was like, you're not stupid. You're smart. Like you're very quick. Your mind goes a million miles an hour, very, very fast. He's brilliant. He'd be a great businessman all the way through. And
he was.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's his vibe. That's his vibe. It's like
the only thing that ever brought him down in life was his addiction. And maybe that's what he's talking about, like being low, like being in the sewer, because like me, his siblings and his mom were like the only ones who actually knew about his addiction. Like a lot of his friends and stuff like did not know that. So when he passed from that, it was kind of a shock to a lot of people. Like, what the hell? Like, heroin for real? Like Taylor, heroin? Like they couldn't put the two and two together, but yeah. So that's where that's coming from for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, because I'm like, he's a nice guy because he keeps showing me like Lamborghinis, like all this stuff. Like he likes to hire nice things. I'm not saying he had one of those, but that's how he's showing me. And so for the fact that he like drops himself so far down because of how bad he felt about people finding out, that's a huge thing for me. And that's the whole. There's significance in him showing me that he's kicking the bucket because that means he found rock bottom. And hang on. Does his mother like cry into his baby clothes or something like that? Or his baby book?
I don't know about his baby clothes, but she still has clothing and things like that.
Okay. So ask her and tell her. So one of the things he keeps showing me is I know she has like the fluffier things in his shirt. She has all that. That's a whole thing. But he's specifically, and he's using my signs for the first time, so I may be transferring it wrong, but he keeps showing me like baby socks, like clothes. He keeps showing me a book. He keeps showing her sobbing. So for me, that either means like we are looking at these things, we're touching these items, and I'm there with you while this is happening, or that means she's physically doing that, one or the other. And
I'm sure she's physically doing that. Like, yeah, whether it's pictures of those things or.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to go in with you real quick. Because he'll talk about mom all day. He like surrounds her in light. So he's there a lot. Who had like the large headed dog or like the pit bull or the large headed dog, like that was bigger up here, like a German Shepherd or they just make me feel this big neck. Who had that?
I don't know. I used to have a shepherd, but he never met him.
No. It doesn't have to mean that he met him. There's just a shepherd or like that big type of dog that just shows up in my head. Like that's it.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
That's my dog.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so it was a boy, and he's talking about like perfect because he's like he said, I go, is this a male or a female? Like the shepherd, it says, oh, I'm a good boy, and I'm like, all right, so you're a good boy. So like that's the whole thing. The dog is he brings this forward, by the way. It's because oh my God, this animal is like, I miss you so much, and like lays on this bed and like opens up one of his legs like this, and it's just being stupid. And then like talking about like not able to go on your bed, but now he sits on your bed, like that's a whole nother thing. And then he keeps being very, so was this when you were like 13, 14, 15 type of thing for this dog?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Because he keeps.
Yeah. Yep. I had him since I was 9.
Oh my God. Okay, perfect. Because he keeps taking you back to that age in my head. And like, he's talking about like, I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her. Like, so excited about that. Hang on. He said, hold on. Did he end up getting like eye problems or cataracts or glaucoma or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh my God.
Sorry.
His eyes couldn't produce tear ducts. His tear ducts they started to not be able to produce tears. So like he had to get eye drops and a bunch, like tons of it.
Because he keeps telling me about how like he couldn't see very well, or he makes me where my eyes are very dry and like very blurry. And so I'm like, did we have a lot of eye issues? Because he's talking about that. He's like, but now I'm fine. Like very he's wait. You did it fine. He's talking about like with you, like you always felt like maybe like at the end or in that area, like you could have given more love or you could have given more attention, like going on that area. And he's like, no, I'm fine. Like he's making me play your thoughts and your feelings. And then he's like, no, I'm good. Like this is very,
oh my God.
Straight up. Oh, wait.
Wow.
He said he was a good boy all the way to the end. So it's like he listened, he was fine, he's whining. So like something about like was he put down?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Because he gives me the whine, which is like that, which is my symbol for being put down. And he's putting his head on this table and he's like, I'm still a good boy. Like as it's happening, he's talking about like how he's making y'all happy because of this. So he's okay. FYI.
I'm so glad he came through. I didn't expect that.
He loves you. I know. Well, thank him because he brings it through. So what are the things that make you happy? Hearing from Taylor, and then what would be another thing that makes you happy? Hearing from your dog.
Dogs. My dog.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So you would have to thank him for that. So for right now, I didn't realize what time it is. I went over by like, it's okay. So what I want, but I had to get this out for you. So what I want you to do right now in closing is I want you to take about 5 minutes and I want you to have a good cry, or I want you to have a good breather too. Okay. After that, later on tonight, when you get a second, I want you to tell them both thank you. I want you to tell them both that you love them and they love you very much. And I can read you for hours and days like these. That's like, oh my God, there's so much. So if you ever need me again, please email me first. I would love to read you again. Like these people are great.
Well, I did. I don't know, because my sister got this set up for me.
Yeah.
We were gonna add an additional half hour and just make it a whole hour session.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is still a thing or
it can't, because I have another session right now. But what you can do is when y'all want to book, talk to her. I'll send this to you tomorrow morning. Talk to her, and when you want to, just email me first, and then I want to just move you up because I want to finish this. There's just so much more. And so email me first, and then I'll tell my secretary y'all are looking to book. And then what will have to happen is that you book like the latest or the earliest appointment I have, and then you let me know the date and time, and then I'll just move you up as the last appointment somewhere, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I have that set actually. It's for May 16th, 2022.
Okay, well, text me that or email me that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
I love you. Thank you. They are amazing. Not me. They are. I love you, girl.